There's this whole notion of spiritual levels that has been on my mind for the last few days. And I've noticed myself when I'm talking to people, especially about levels of consciousness, levels of our vibrational frequency, that I tend to apologize for the fact that when I say that I want the best and that I am the best at what I do, and that is the striving and the drive at which I see myself and that I want, I start to lose the sense of like, oh, I don't want people to compare. I don't want people to feel bad about where they are, or to create this sense of pedestaling or levels, and I diminish the fact that there is an incredible amount of power in perceiving that there are levels of consciousness. There are levels and degrees of freedom that we feel. And by seeing an example of someone that in our intuitive sense really appears free and is speaking their truth and is vulnerable and honest, and it triggers in us the places where we're not. It's so purposeful that they are an example of a new possibility that is available to us, that we can almost pattern ourselves after, but also open up and activate new expressions within us that we never thought were available, or we never thought aloud were available, to speak that openly or to speak that vulnerably. And it opens up to our power. And so I think it is healthy to have spiritual levels, because all we're talking about is how free are you? If you're not free, then you are at a lower level. And I think that is okay. And I think before I was trying to soothe other people by saying, "Oh no, we're not talking about levels like pedestals and better than you, worse than you, and we're all the same," which is true. But there is a level of frequency with freedom. There's a higher frequency to love. There's a higher frequency to joy. There's a higher frequency to passion. And when you're not in that frequency, you are in a low frequency. And so we are talking about levels of awareness, levels of self-awareness, levels of vibrational frequency of our state of being. And that kind of thing is important to notice in ourselves when our level is not where we want it to be, or as high as we want it to be, because our soul is trying to tell us that there is a higher possibility available to us that we have to uncover and work out to find out what the blocks are, what the old programs and patterns are, what are the things that are keeping us from those higher states of freedom and power and joy and love, from expressing themselves at their full potential and full volume. So spiritual levels are a thing, and I'm not going to try to preface or apologize for the fact that I am wanting to be at the highest level, and that I am at a high level in terms of my own self-awareness and all of the things that I know about myself and the wisdoms innate into my intuitive abilities. I'm not going to try to suppress myself to try to soothe people into feeling comfortable about where they're at. I don't think that's my job. I think my job is to really trigger people to see what is possible and the power that they're suppressing in themselves, because that is what's unhealthy. That is what is low level. And we can't have that if we're going to make major changes on this planet that are going to be quantum leaps in our humanity that we vision as the future, that is actually going to be coming a lot faster than we think, because the more and more people are awakening to the higher levels. And so there's no use in trying to apologize for the fact that I am at a high level, and no more trying to hide the fact that I am anymore. And it just feels relieving and freeing, and that I don't have to be at so many multiple levels in myself in terms of the doubts in my abilities, and the doubts of my wisdom, and the doubts of my power and abilities and passion, because that's not doing a service to anyone, including, most importantly, to myself. And that, it feels good. And so that is where I'll leave this. And if you have any questions, write some comments down. I love to interact. And if you do feel at a lower level, it's not a sign that you are less than. You are perfect. You are whole already. But it's that the lies, the programming, the brainwashing, the conditioning is what's keeping you at a low level and unconscious to your true power. And that's all that this is a sign of. It does not mean the better than, worse than, any of that drama of comparison and judgment. This is not judgment. This is what is possible when you are fully in alignment with your truth, and expressing from that level, because that is where fun and flow and inspiration are readily available to you, when you're in that magic flow. And that is what it means to be at a higher level, and that is what's possible. And it's possible for you. It is possible for you. So